Hey guys, it's Natalie. Today I'm gonna show you how to crochet this top. It's actually a really fast project. Took me only about 3 to 4 hours to finish the crop top. So yeah, let's get into it. For this project, I recommend using fine yarn category number 2 with the 5.5mm crochet hook. So we're using a rather big hook with thinner yarn to create this kind of nice and loose fabric like this. But of course, it's gonna be slightly harder to handle for beginners. So if you feel uncomfortable working with thin yarn and a big hook like this, you can actually use DK yarn. But yeah, if you don't mind thin yarn, you can even use superfine or lace yarn. And then you need 4 stitch markers. You can use the regular stitch marker or this bobby pin like this. We're gonna mark these chain 3 spaces. So this clipper actually really convenient. You can like just clip it on like that. So yeah, I'm gonna use these clippers. Then of course you need scissors and a yarn needle. So let's start with a slip knot. I personally like to leave a fairly long tail like this, just so that I don't have to make a fuss counting the number of chains. It's easier to count the number of stitches on row 1. So by the end of row 1, if I realize that I don't have enough, I can whip up some more chains with this long tail. I will show you how to do that by the end of row 1. So yeah, it's kind of convenient to have a longer tail just in case. But that doesn't mean that we won't try our best to make the right number of chains. So I'm just gonna count as I go, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we want the chains to be not too tight. So because we are working with very thin yarn, if you pull too hard on the working yarn or put too much pressure on the tension, we will end up with a very tight chain, as you can see there. So that's not what we want. You're just gonna keep a very light tension, like so. Now here I have with me 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 chains. I'm just gonna measure it for reference. So it's about 4 inches for 12 chains, just in case you need the measurement. Make a number of chain according to the size instruction. So 13, 14, 15. So once you finish the chain, we're gonna start with a treble crochet into the 4th chain. So this is the 1st chain, 2nd chain, 3rd chain, and 4th chain. So we're gonna work our first treble crochet in here. I'm gonna insert the hook under this top loop, like so. For a treble crochet, you're gonna yarn over with the working yarn 2 times. So 1 and 2, like so, right? And I like to put my finger here so that it's easier to insert the hook. Now, insert the hook into the 4th chain. With the working yarn, bring our loop. You'll see that you have 4 loops on the hook. And try to keep all the loops on the hook close to the size of the hook. It should not be too tight that it's hard to work with. It also should not be too loose, okay? There should be just enough space so that it's easy to work with. Now, with 4 loops on the hook, with the working yarn, yarn over and pull that yarn over loop through 2 loops on the hook, like so. Now we have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over again and pull through 2 loops, Now we have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2 last loop, and that is the very first treble crochet. Let's do the second treble crochet into this next chain, yarn over 2 times, and in this next chain, inside the hook, bring our loop, hold on to the root of this chain right here so that it's easy to work with. Then with the working yarn, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That's the second treble crochet. Let's repeat the same thing into this next chain, yarn over 2 times, insert the hook in the next chain, bring our loop, hold right there so that it's easy to work with 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2 loops 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. And that is the third treble crochet. Now again, yarn over 2 times into this next chain, bring our loop and treble crochet. All right. Now follow the rhythm pattern. We're gonna need a number of treble crochet before we make the very first increasing. So right now we have 4 treble crochet and a chain 3 because we make the first treble crochet into the 4th chain, right? So we have this chain 3 in the beginning and 4 treble crochet. Depend on the size that we are working on, we're gonna need a certain number of treble crochet before we make the very first increasing. So I'm working on a size small. I'm gonna first need 8 of these treble crochet. So please follow the number of your size, okay? Let's keep making this treble crochet until we have the right number. Once you have your number of treble crochet, counting from the first treble crochet next to this chain 3 in the beginning, right? So from this one to this one, in the next chain we're gonna make an increasing of treble crochet, chain 3, and treble crochet in the same chain. So let's make a treble crochet, and then a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then another treble crochet in the exact same chain. All right, and now I recommend you to mark that chain 3 space like so, okay? And then we're gonna treble crochet into each of this chain until we have a certain number according to our size instruction, counting from that treble crochet next to this increasing, right? So let's do that. Alright, so we have this increasing of treble crochet, chain 3, and treble crochet, right? So I will count from this one until this one, and you should have the right number of stitches according to your size. And then we can move on to the next increasing, which into this next chain, the same thing that we did before, a treble crochet, a chain 3, and a treble crochet in the same place. All right, and I will mark that chain 3 like so. So from now to the end of the chain, we do pretty much the same thing. We're gonna work treble crochet into each chain until we have a certain number of treble crochet, counting from the previous, the last increasing. So counting from this stitch, and then make another increasing. We're gonna need 4 increasing in total on this chain, on this very first row. So I just finished the 4th increasing, and I can already tell that I don't have enough chain. So like I told you before, this is when the long tail is really helpful. According to the pattern, I will need 8 more treble crochet after the last increasing. So here I only have 1, 2, 3, 4. I will need 4 more chains. So I will insert the hook right in here in the last chain, and I take the bottom loop. So this is the top loop that we worked the stitches in. We insert the hook in the bottom loop of the chain, and then pull our loop, and then we need 4 more chains. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, if I left a longer tail, it would be much more convenient. And then 1 more chain to fasten the tail, so right there. Okay, so I should have 8 chains. That's how I deal with the chain. If you made the right number of chains since the very beginning, you can just work treble crochet into each chain, and so on the other hand, if you have more than enough chain, like say that this is like the excessive amount of chain, you can just ignore it. You can actually just weave this chain back into the piece by the end of the project, so it doesn't really matter. As long as you have the right number of stitches by the end of row 1, we can just move on. All right, so here let's finish this row, and then we can check the number of stitches. Let's finish row 1 by joining it into the round with a slip stitch. So first, make sure that the row is not twisted like this, okay? Make sure that it's nice and even, like so. And then you find the first treble crochet, the very first treble crochet of row 1, this one. So this is the chain 3 in the beginning, right? This is the first treble crochet, and on top of the first treble crochet, you find a V shape. That's where we are going to insert the hook to make a slip stitch, right? So insert the hook right there. For a slip stitch, you're going to bring our loop with a working yarn. Bring the same loop through the loop on your hook, like so, and that is the slip stitch right there. All right, now we're gonna need to fasten that slip stitch by pulling on the loop on the hook and the working yarn, holding the piece right there and pull. You will see the slip stitch disappear. And at the same time, it returned the space on top of this first treble crochet, so that we're still gonna work in that treble crochet for row 2. Turn the work and make a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Make sure that the chains are not too tight, all right? Then we're gonna work treble crochet into the first stitch. Find the body of the first stitch and insert the hook right under the V on top of that first stitch. Treble crochet, we yarn over 2 times. Insert the hook like so. Bring our loop and treble crochet. Alright, that's how it should look like. Now follow the written pattern. You'll see that we're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and treble crochet in the next stitch. So let's do that. Chain 1, make sure that the chain 1 is not too tight. Skip this stitch and work in the stitch next to it. So treble crochet, not this one, but this one, okay? Like so, that's how it should look like. Another one, chain 1, skip the stitch, work in this one. Alright, that's how it should look like. Okay, and then you repeat the same thing until you reach this chain 3 space that you mark right here. Okay, so if you're working on a different size, we're gonna have a different number of stitch to work in here, but I'm a size small, so I have only 2 more stitches. Chain 1, skip this stitch, and treble crochet in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip this stitch, and treble crochet in this stitch next to the chain 3 space. Okay, that's how it should look like. And now in this chain 3 space, you can remove this stitch marker. Now in this chain 3 space, we're gonna work the same increasing. Treble crochet, chain 3, and treble crochet. So let's do that. Treble crochet, a chain 3, and a treble crochet. That's how it should look like. Put this marker back on the new chain 3 space. That's how it should look like. Okay, now work treble crochet in this next stitch next to the chain 3 space, and make sure you find the body of the stitch and insert the hook under the V on top of that stitch. Okay, be careful not to mistake it with one of the chain belongs to the chain 3 space. Okay, so not this one, make sure that it's this one on top of the treble crochet. So we treble crochet in there like so. And then we repeat the same pattern of chain 1, skip a stitch, and treble crochet in the next stitch. Okay, chain 1, skip a stitch, treble crochet in, skip a stitch, and treble crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and repeat that all the way until the next mark or the chain 3 space. You can see here I'm closer to the chain 3 space. I'm gonna chain 1, skip this stitch, and work in the stitch next to it. So this one, right? Okay. Now, again in this chain 3 space, remove the marker and we work another increasing of treble crochet, chain 3, and treble crochet. Okay, and put the marker back on like so, and then again treble crochet in the stitch next to the chain 3 space, so this one. That's how it's like. That's how it should look like, and repeat the same pattern of chain 1, skip a stitch, treble crochet in the next stitch. So chain 1, skip this stitch and work in the next stitch. Like so, and we're gonna repeat the same thing, chain 1, skip a stitch, treble crochet in the next stitch, the same thing all the way until the end of the row. There's actually nothing new. Do chain 1, skip a stitch, work in the next stitch all the way until you reach the chain 3 space. You make another increasing just the same way here, treble crochet in the stitch next to the chain 3 space, and then repeat the same thing all the way until the end. I will meet you by the end of the row to show you how it's like. Here I'm closer to the end of row 2, and I just gonna keep repeating the pattern of chain 1, skip a stitch and treble crochet in the next stitch until the end of the row. Have 2 stitches left right here, which is chain 1, skip a stitch and treble crochet in the last stitch. Alright, that's how it should look like. We're gonna finish the second row the same way we did with the first row. We join it with a slip stitch into the first treble crochet. So this is the chain 3 in the beginning of the row, the first treble crochet right there. Find a V on top of the treble crochet, insert the hook, like so. With the working yarn, bring our loop, bring the same loop through the loop on your hook. That's a slip stitch, and don't forget to fasten the slip stitch by pulling on the working yarn, the loop on the hook, and the piece all together. Now let's turn the work from the right to the left and move on to row 3 with a chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, a chain 3 to begin the row. Now we're gonna work treble crochet into each stitch in each chain. So as you can see, we have the first treble crochet stitch right here. Let's treble crochet in there. Like so. And then we're gonna work treble crochet into this chain 1 space. So you can actually insert your hook in the loop, one of the loop of the chain, but I like to just put my hook right under the chain 1 space, right under the space, like so, and work a treble crochet, like that, right? And then this one is a treble crochet, so we work as usual. And then in this chain 1 space, just insert the hook right under the space and finish the stitch, like so. And that's how it should look like. Alright, and repeat the same thing all the way until we again meet the chain 3 space. Alright, you can see here I'm closer to the chain 3 space. I have 2 treble crochet before I reach the chain 3 space. So let's work in there. Treble crochet and treble crochet in this stitch next to the chain 3, next to the chain 3 space, like so. That's how it should look like. And again, in this chain 3 space, we're going to do the exact same increasing. Treble crochet, chain 3, and treble crochet in the same chain 3 space. like so. Okay, and then put the clipper back onto the new chain 3 space, and then work treble crochet in each stitch in each chain across. We have this next treble crochet next to the chain 3 space, so that one, and then another one next to it, another treble crochet. Okay, and then the next one would be the chain 1 space, right? So right under the chain 1 space, work treble crochet, another one, another chain 1 space, work treble crochet in there, and then treble crochet in treble crochet, like so. And that's how it should look like by now. So yeah, we repeat pretty much the same thing. Treble crochet into each stitch in each chain across, and work another increasing when you reach the chain 3 space. And so yeah, just follow the reading pattern. I'll meet you by the end of this row to show you one more time how it's like, alright? So as you can see here, I'm closer to the end of the row. So let's finish the few last stitches together. And this is how it should look like by now. You can count the number of stitches on the row and compare it to the number in the pattern, just to make sure that it's the right number and the project is in good shape. And then we can again join the round with a slip stitch into the first treble crochet. So this is the chain 3 in the beginning, the treble crochet, find the top of it. With the working yarn, bring our loop, that same loop through the loop on your hook, a slip stitch, and don't forget to fasten the slip stitch, like so. Alright, then we can turn the work and make a chain 3 to start the next row. You will see that the fourth row will be exactly the same as the second row. We treble crochet in the very first treble crochet first stitch, like so, and then chain 1, skip a stitch, treble crochet in the next stitch, and then the same thing, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, work in the next stitch. So when you reach the chain 3 space like that, you just work another same increasing in the chain 3 space. Put the clipper back on, and then treble crochet in the stitch next to the chain 3 space, like so. And repeat the same pattern of chain 1, skip a stitch, work in the next stitch. So yeah, there's actually nothing new to the pattern. So now that we are here, we're gonna start working on the body from here and leave out the sleeve for later. And let me show you how we do that. We are going to start another row just the same way we did before. So if you don't know which way to turn because you don't know if this turned yet or you need to turn again, turn the work, you can remove the stitch and you will know that, and work the last stitch again and join the stitch with the slip stitch and turn the work. And we're gonna start a new row just as we normally do with a chain 3. And because this row is a treble crochet row, the next row will be treble crochet chain 1 row. So we start with a treble crochet in the first stitch, and then chain 1, skip a stitch, and treble crochet in the next stitch. So we repeat the exact same thing we did before until you get to this first chain 3 space, and I'll meet you there to show you how it's like, okay? Okay, so here I just did a chain 1 and I have 1 treble crochet left to work with. I'm going to remove this stitch marker right here, and then you're going to work a treble crochet into this chain 3 space. All right, and then we're going to do a chain 3, but this is not the same chain 3 that we do for the increasing. It will be the underarm chain, and you will know what I mean after we finish. It will make sense. So just do a regular chain 3 like so. Make sure that it's not too tight, and then you are going to work a treble crochet, skip all the stitches in between, and move right on to the very next chain 3 space, right? So make sure that it is the next one, and then treble crochet into that chain 3 space. So yarn over 2 times, inside the hook, under that chain 3 space, and then work a treble crochet. All right, that's how it should look like. As you can see, here will be the sleeve area. Then we are going to treble crochet into this next treble crochet next to this chain 3 space that we just worked in. So inside the hook, and then work a treble crochet like so. Okay, and from here we're going to do chain 1 and treble crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and treble crochet in the next stitch. We chain 1, skip a stitch, and treble crochet in the next stitch. All right, that's how it should look like. And we're just gonna keep going until we reach the next chain 3 space. But let me show you how it looks like. Let's just put this away, right? This is how it should look like. And as you can see here, this is the sleeve area. As you can see, this we call an underarm chain, which is the chain that's right under our underarm. Okay, and we're gonna work treble crochet in each of these underarm chain in the next row. So yeah, I will show you how to do that later, but now we're just gonna keep going from here. So chain 1, skip a stitch, and treble crochet in the next stitch. Repeat that all the way until you are here, the next chain 3 space, and I'll meet you there, right? Okay, so I'm here. Let's work chain 1 and then skip a stitch, treble crochet in this last one next to the one next to the chain 3 space. All right, and then we do the exact same thing we did on the other side. You treble crochet into this chain 3 space. Okay, and do a chain 3. 1, 2, and 3, like so. Make sure that it's not too tight. And then work, and then find the very next chain 3 space, which we mark here. And I yarn over 2 times, and then insert the hook in this next chain 3 space, and just finish the treble crochet, like so. That's how it should look like, right? We are going to do a treble crochet into this next stitch next to the chain 3 space, insert the hook, treble crochet, and then again work chain 1, skip a stitch, treble crochet in the next stitch all the way until the end of the row, and so let's do it together. Alright, I have 1 treble crochet left, chain 1, skip a stitch, and treble crochet in the last stitch. Oopsie, let's redo that. Alright, now we join the round in with a slip stitch the same way we did. Insert the hook in the treble crochet, bring our loop, same loop through the loop on your hook, fasten the slip stitch, and we turn the work. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have here. So as you can see, from now we're gonna work on the body of the top and leave out these sleeves, right? We're gonna come back to it later. Now, let's move on to the next row. I did turn the work, so on this row you are going to treble crochet into the first treble crochet, first stitch like so, and then treble crochet in the chain 1 space. Basically we do treble crochet into each chain and each treble crochet stitch across. There's actually nothing new, but what we have here is the underarm chain to work in. So I'm gonna meet you right here to show you how it's like. Alright, so as you can see here, I'm closer to the chain 3. I have this treble crochet that I need to work in, so I'm going to work in there. That's how it should look like, right? Then into each of this chain of the underarm chain, which we have 3 chains here, we're going to work treble crochet into each chain, and I'm going to take only 1 loop of each chain like so. Alright, so as you can see, each chain shaped like little V. This one, and this one. I'm just going to take 1 loop of the V. So yarn over 2 times, take 1 loop, and then treble crochet. The same thing happened here. And the same thing happened with the 3rd chain, right? That's how it should look like. And then we're going to start working treble crochet into this very first treble crochet next to the chain, and then the next one next to it, and then the chain 1 space. Of course, we need to work in there, and then another treble crochet in this stitch. So yeah, that's basically it. That's how it should look like. So we'll do the exact same thing, just treble crochet into each chain and each stitch across. When you reach this place, you're still going to work in each treble crochet and then each of this underarm chain, and then all the way until the end. There's actually nothing new. I'm going to meet you by the end of this row to show you how it's like, all right? I'm at the end of this row, and as you can see, I did my last treble crochet. I'm going to join the round with the slip stitch, fasten the slip stitch, and then turn the work, chain 3, and then treble crochet in the first stitch, and then repeat the pattern of chain 1, skip a stitch, and work in the next stitch. So chain 1, treble crochet in the next stitch. Right, so as you can already tell, we are basically just gonna repeat the same thing we did before, except that we don't have the increasing to do anymore, and we're just gonna alternate that 2 type of rows until the body of the top is long enough for you. Once the body part is long enough for me, I like to finish off with a double crochet row, turn the work, and instead of a chain 3, we do a chain 2, right? And then for double crochet, we just yarn over 1 time, insert the hook where we want the stitch to be, or the first stitch, bring our loop with 3 loops on the hook, we yarn over and pull through 2 times. And repeat the same thing, yarn over, insert the hook. This is my chain 1 space because I'm on this chain 1 treble crochet row, right? So yarn over 1 time, insert the hook under the chain 1 space, and double crochet, and the same thing, just double crochet all over. Okay, make sure that you don't make more double crochet than needed. So double crochet into each chain and each stitch across, and just like that. I'll meet you by the end of the row so that we can bind off together. Okay, so I did finish the double crochet row and I bind off, but I realized that it would be so much better if I can finish off not with this double crochet row, but an extra single crochet row on top of this double crochet row. The edge would be much cleaner and sturdier. So let's do that, and I will take this chance to show you how I join yarn. My favorite way to join yarn is the magic knot, and if you don't know how to do it yet, I'm going to show you here quickly. First, I make a knot on one of the tail like so, and then with that tail I make another knot on the other tail, and then fasten these 2 knots real good, and then I will pull this together. Make sure that both knots are really tight, and then pull them against each other. All right, just do this. Just make sure that they are really tight. Check. And then you can cut off really close to the knot. Leave just a little bit like so, and like that. And that is how I join the yarn. This is really secure. If you just attach the yarn on the project instead, then you will have 2 tails to weave in later, right? So this will minimize the tails that we have to weave in. Let's start the row. We insert the hook right on top of the begin chain of the previous row, which is a chain 2 here, and then do a chain 1. You can turn the work or not. I prefer to turn the work. Oh, it's already turned because this is the back of the stitch. I will single crochet into each stitch across, and you insert the hook in the next stitch, bring our loop with 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through. And that is a single crochet. If you are a beginner, you should probably mark this first single crochet like so, because it's really short, so you may not realize when you finish the row, so it's good to have a sign. Now single crochet in this next stitch, single crochet, insert the hook, bring out loop, yarn over, pull through, insert the hook, bring out loop, yarn over, pull through, and we're just going to repeat that all the way. Okay, and let's just repeat that all the way until the end of the row. Keep the loops close to the sides of the hook, but not too tight. Just give it a really nice, fairly light tension, so that they will be nice and even. You can already see that it's look much cleaner than the double crochet, right? So I'll meet you by the end of the row, all right? And so that we can bind off together. As you can see, I am by the end of the row. I have 2 stitches left to work in, and I know that I finished the round thanks to this stitch marker. Let's finish these 2 stitches and then join the round with a slip stitch, fasten the slip stitch, and to bind off we're going to chain 1, pull our loop. Make sure that you leave a long enough tail to weave in later. You pull that loop out and fasten. Alright, let's move on to the sleeve. We're gonna attach yarn right here by the sleeve hole, by the underarm chain, to start working on the sleeve. We made 3 chains for the underarm. So 1, 2, 3, right? Oh no. 1, 2, 3. This one, it's actually this treble crochet. So these 3 chain, we're going to insert the hook right into this middle chain right there. So take your yarn and insert the hook right in there like so. Put the yarn in. You can make a simple knot to make sure that it stays on like so. And in the same place, you are going to insert the hook, bring our loop, and chain 3. So as you can see, the previous row of this sleeve hole is a treble crochet row, only treble crochet. So this row we're going to work treble crochet chain 1. First of all, we do a treble crochet into this stitch like so. It's actually the other chain of the underarm chain. As you can see here, this is the side of this treble crochet which belong to the very first row of the body. So now you're going to need a chain 1, and then we treble crochet right under this side of the stitch. So just insert your hook in there, bring our loop, and treble crochet. Alright, that's how it should look like. And then you are going to make another chain 1 and treble crochet into this chain 3 space. Alright, so we have in this chain 3 space, we have 1 treble crochet which belongs to the body. Now we work another treble crochet that belongs to the sleeve. Alright, that's how it should look like. And then it is just gonna be the same thing we did before. You chain 1 and skip 1 stitch, treble crochet in the next stitch. Right? And then from here you see we have the treble crochet stitches, so just chain 1, make sure that the chain is not too tight, and then skip a stitch, treble crochet in the next stitch. And I'll meet you when we are closer to the other side of the underarm chain to show you how it's like, alright? I reach the other chain 3 space, this one, right? And next to it you see again another side of the stitch. So on this side we're just gonna do the exact same thing. First chain 1, skip this stitch and work in the chain 3 space. We might have different number of stitches because of the sizes, but just chain 1 and treble crochet in the chain 3 space, okay? Now chain 1 again, and the same way we did with the other side, you treble crochet in right under this side of the stitch. So, like so. And then chain 1, treble crochet into the last chain of the underarm chain. So this is where we attach the yarn. Here we're gonna treble crochet into the stitch next to it. So just this one. Like so, right? And then just the same way we did before, we insert the hook into the first treble crochet and slip stitch to join the round. All right, and then of course we're gonna turn and chain 3, 2, 3, and on the next row we just work treble crochet into each stitch and each chain across. Okay, so I'm at the end of the row. I just work in this chain 1 space, right? So I have 1 treble crochet left in this last stitch. Okay, now this is how it should look like. And before you join this row into the round, I would recommend you to count all the treble crochet stitch you have on this treble crochet row. So you can count this chain 3 or not, it's all up to you. If you count this chain 3, remember that you count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way until the end, this last treble crochet, and you note down that number somewhere that you can find it later, so that when you move on to repeat the same thing on the other side of the sleeve, you will have something to keep track on. So yeah. And also, just in case when you do the same thing, when you repeat the same thing on the other sleeve, and you find out that on this row you have a different number of stitches, you would want to compensate it. For example, if I need 1 extra stitch, you just work a treble crochet in the exact same stitch like this. So it's like an increasing, just so that you have the same number of stitches on the other sleeve. But this would work only if you have you make one little mistake somewhere and you have 1 or 2 stitches different between the 2 sleeves. But if you have more than 2 stitches in different, then you should probably come back and check where you make the mistake. But yeah, if it's just 1 stitch, it doesn't really matter. You can just go ahead and put 1 extra stitch just so that the number is even. And then just move on from there. We don't have to really stress out just because of 1 stitch, right? Okay, so I just finished this sleeve. I did the same thing to finish the edge with a double crochet row and a single crochet row, the same way I did with the seams of the body, right? Now we're gonna repeat the exact same thing to the other sides of the sleeve. You can rewind the video to repeat the same thing on this sleeve. It's actually exactly the same. We still have some ends to weave in, and we're gonna use the yarn needle. Let me show you how to do with this one, okay? This is the slit from the very first row because we start turning around from the second row, right? You can easily close the slit with this tail by just putting the yarn in here. You don't have to, though, if you don't like. This is gonna make the neck a little wider. So you can just weave this end into these stitches, and leave the slit open. But if you want to close it, just simply put it into this corner, like so, and then make a little loop like so. Put the yarn into the loop and pull them together like that. Okay, and then the rest of the tail we're gonna weave back into the piece. And the trick of weaving the ends in to make sure that they're secured in the piece is just to twist, go up and down, right to the left, not going into any like straight line, but up and down, right to the left, and twist it with the stitches. So you see me I just go down. Now I will go up and twist with the stitch, with this stitch, right? Like so, and make sure you don't put too hard because you have to stretch the stitch to reposition the tail, or it will like drag the stitches together and it wouldn't be nice, right? So you do it just gently. So now we go down and up and then down again. And then stretch where you weave it in to make sure that the fabric is still nice. Just do it a few times. Now just go all the way down here. Twist it with the yarn and the stitches. When the tail is too short, you can put the yarn needle in first and then put the tail in. And then pull and then stretch. Now I just go down one more time and it should be secure. Like so. Right? Now you can reposition it one more time and just cut close to where it sticks out, like so, and it should be good. We'll do the exact same thing to all the ends that we have, one on each sleeves and then the bottom of the top. And that is it.